When Marissa Lopez pulled out her card to pay for a customer who had forgotten their wallet at McDonald's, she never expected that this small act would cost her job. But what she could never have imagined was that the customer was none other than Elon Musk, the most powerful billionaire in the world. The story should have ended there, but a long-buried secret unexpectedly came to light, linking Marissa and Elon in a way no one could have foreseen. What was it that made kindness return in such a miraculous way? Marissa Lopez pulled her apron down slightly, trying to ease the dull ache running down her back after hours of nonstop work. The clock on the wall read 11:30 p.m., just 30 more minutes until her shift ended. The McDonald's where she worked sat right on the edge of the highway in Fremont, California, one of the few locations open 24 hours. Most nights were quiet, but tonight was different. A steady stream of weary truck drivers and late-night workers kept coming in, leaving her with barely a moment to catch her breath. Marissa silently opened her locker, glancing at a small photo taped to the door. Her two little angels, Zoe, 9, and Miguel, 7, smiling with bright eyes. Zoe, with her missing front tooth, always clutched her favorite stuffed bunny when she slept. Miguel, with glasses a size too big for his face, was a smart but sensitive boy. They were the only reason she kept pushing through these exhausting night shifts. "There's a car in the drive-thru," Alicia, her co-worker on the night shift, called out from the kitchen. "Can you take this order for me? I need to run to the restroom." "Got it," Marissa replied, quickly adjusting her headset before stepping up to the window. She took a deep breath and put on her usual warm smile. "Welcome to McDonald's. How can I help you tonight?" A deep male voice came through the speaker, sounding noticeably tired. "I'll take a large black coffee, 2 double cheeseburgers, and a large fries. That'll be $12.87. Please proceed to the first window for payment." As the car rolled up to the payment window, Marissa immediately noticed something unusual. This wasn't the type of car that typically showed up at this hour. Most late-night customers drove trucks, old vans, or economy sedans. But this car, sleek, expensive, and luxurious, was in a league of its own. The window rolled down, and in an instant, Marissa nearly dropped her name tag. Sitting behind the wheel was none other than Elon Musk. Even at a glance, he was unmistakable. His face was everywhere, on TV, on the internet. A tech visionary, a billionaire, a man who had changed the world with Tesla and SpaceX. But tonight, Elon Musk didn't look like the powerful figure she was used to seeing. The glow from the drive-thru window highlighted the dark circles under his eyes. His shoulders slumped slightly, his hair was tousled, and he wore a wrinkled t-shirt with a science joke Marissa didn't quite understand. He didn't look like one of the richest men on the planet, just a man completely drained after a long day. "Good evening." Marissa kept her voice steady, though her heart pounded. "Your total is $12.87. Elon reached into his pocket, then suddenly froze. He patted his pants, checked his jacket, then turned to rummage through the glove compartment and cup holders. A flicker of frustration crossed his tired face. "I'm sorry," he sighed. "I think I left my wallet at the office. I've been working almost 20 hours straight, and my brain isn't working anymore." Marissa looked at him with understanding. A part of her almost wanted to laugh. A billionaire forgetting his wallet while getting fast food in the middle of the night? But the moment she saw the frustration in his eyes, she remembered the times she had been in the same situation. She remembered when her card was declined at the grocery store while trying to buy just a bit of milk and bread for her kids. She remembered the shame, the helplessness of not having enough for even the most basic necessities. And she remembered the kind woman behind her who had quietly swiped her own card and simply said, "Happens to the best of us." She had never forgotten that moment. "Wait," Marissa spoke quickly before Elon could drive away. Without hesitation, she pulled out her own card and swiped it through the payment machine. Elon looked up at her, surprised. "You really don't have to do that." Marissa just smiled. "It happens to the best of us." She handed him the receipt and turned to prepare his order. But before sealing the bag, she slipped in an extra apple pie. It was just $1, but Marissa knew that on a long, exhausting day, sometimes a little bit of sweetness could make all the difference. When she returned to the window, she handed him the bag and said softly, "I added an apple pie. You look like you could use something sweet after a long day." Elon paused for a second looking at her. There was something in his eyes, not just gratitude, but recognition. He glanced at her name tag. "Thank you, Marissa." "No problem, Mr. Musk. Get some rest." For the first time that night, Elon smiled before driving off, his car's red taillights fading into the night. Marissa turned back to her work, thinking little of what had just happened. She had no idea that the small exchange had been caught on the store's security camera. She couldn't imagine that by tomorrow the entire world would know her name, and she never could have guessed that this small act of kindness would change her life forever. Marissa Lopez didn't think much about her actions. To her, it was just a small gesture, a simple act of kindness that anyone could have done. She had no idea that as Elon Musk's luxury car rolled away from the drive-thru that night, a security camera had captured everything. She couldn't predict what would happen the next day. "Marissa, have you seen it yet?" Lucia, her sister, called out. "Seen what?" "The video from McDonald's last night. You're all over the internet." "What? Who recorded it?" "The security camera. Someone got the footage from the store and uploaded it online. It's already got over 1 million views." Marissa's phone buzzed with notifications. She opened one of the trending posts. "McDonald's employee pays for billionaire Elon Musk. Proof that kindness still exists in the world." The comments poured in. "This is amazing. A truly kind-hearted person. This is the kind of person the world needs. She deserves a reward. Hope Elon Musk gives her a Tesla." Wait, did she get fired for this? McDonald's has a policy against giving out free food. The last comment sent a chill down Marissa's spine. Fired? That couldn't be possible. She had paid with her own money. Would she really lose her job over a $1 apple pie? Her thoughts were interrupted by a text from her manager. "Marissa, see me in my office at the start of your shift tonight." That evening, as she walked into the restaurant, she could feel the tension in the air. Her co-workers avoided eye contact. In the office, her manager, Mr. Daniels, sat with a serious expression. "Sit down," he said, his tone cold and unsettling. "Can you explain this?" He gestured to his phone, where the video played. "He forgot his wallet. I just helped him pay with my own money," Marissa explained. "And the apple pie?" Daniels pressed. "It was just a small gesture. Just a single apple pie." "Exactly, an apple pie. And do you know that it violates company policy? No employee is allowed to give out free food, not even for a $1. Marissa felt a surge of frustration. "Really? I have to sit here and justify myself over a $1 pie? I didn't steal anything." Daniels remained unmoved. "The company doesn't care about your reasons. They care about employees following the rules." He slid a termination paper across the desk. "You're being let go. Effective immediately. Sign here." Marissa stared at the paper, her world crumbling. As she stepped out of the store, she felt the weight of everything pressing down on her. Rent, electricity bills. Miguel needed new shoes. She had done the right thing, and yet the cost was too high. Across town, Elon Musk was watching the video again, for the third time, then the fourth, then the fifth. Since the video went viral, hundreds of articles had been written about the McDonald's angel, the nickname the internet had given Marissa. But it wasn't the headlines or the calls for him to gift her a Tesla that caught Elon's attention. It was the name on her tiny name tag, Lopez. A strange familiarity settled over him, but he couldn't pinpoint why. He closed his eyes, sifting through memories from his early days in California, when he was just a young man with big dreams and an empty wallet. There was a time he couldn't afford a meal. There was someone who had helped him, a woman. She worked at a fast food restaurant. Elon's fingers moved quickly across his keyboard, pulling up the personal background file his assistants had compiled on Marissa. Her full name, Marissa Lopez. Her mother's name, Elena Lopez. In that moment, an old memory surfaced. A small McDonald's in Palo Alto, the place he used to visit on late nights after exhausting workdays. He remembered a woman's face, kind eyes yet strong, a soft smile as she placed a free burger in front of him when he didn't have enough money for dinner. Elena Lopez. Elon's heart skipped a beat. No way. He kept digging, instructing his team to pull up records of the old McDonald's in Palo Alto. Finally, they found an old grainy photo, one of the store's employees nearly 2 decades ago. And there among them was a woman behind the counter, wearing an apron, with the same kind eyes Elon could never forget. Elena Lopez, Marissa's mother. Elon leaned back in his chair, staring at the screen. A full circle had closed in the strangest way. When he had nothing, Marissa's mother had helped him, without asking for a name, without knowing who he was, simply out of kindness. And now her daughter had done the same. A coincidence? Or was this how fate worked? Elon didn't know, but there was one thing he was sure of. This couldn't end here. He pressed a button on his desk phone. A familiar voice answered immediately. Tanya, I need you to set up a meeting with Marissa Lopez. That evening, Marissa was filling out job applications on her old laptop when an unexpected email arrived. The sender was unknown, but the subject line made her breath catch. Regarding your act of kindness at McDonald's. She hesitated before opening it. I would like to meet with you to discuss something that I believe is of mutual interest. If you're willing, please meet me tomorrow at 2 p.m. at Green Bean Cafe, Main Street. Marissa stared at the last line. An anonymous email. Could it be Elon Musk? Why would he want to meet her? Her mind raced. Was this a joke? A reporter trying to dig deeper? Or even worse, a scam? But something inside her told her this was real. And if this was an opportunity, she couldn't ignore it. The next afternoon, Marissa arrived at the cafe 15 minutes early. She sat in a quiet corner, ordered a black coffee, and watched the door, trying to steady her heartbeat. At exactly 2 p.m., a black Tesla pulled up outside. A woman stepped out, dressed in a sleek suit, hair neatly pulled back, sharp yet kind eyes scanning the room. She walked straight to Marissa's table. Miss Lopez? The voice was professional but warm. Yes, Marissa answered hesitantly. The woman smiled and extended a hand. I'm Tanya Williams, senior assistant to Elon Musk. Thank you for coming. Marissa shook her hand but couldn't hide the confusion in her eyes. Can I ask what this is about? Tanya reached into her bag, pulling out a thick envelope and a business card. She placed them in front of Marissa. Mr. Musk was deeply moved by your kindness, and she hesitated, her expression softening. There's something he thinks you should know, something that may change your life forever. Marissa's hands trembled as she picked up the envelope. She had no idea that inside was not just a job opportunity, but a part of her past she had never known, a past her mother had left behind, one that was now coming back in ways she'd never imagined. Marissa Lopez clutched the envelope tightly, her heart pounding as she looked at the woman sitting across from her. Tanya Williams, Elon Musk's senior assistant, exuded professionalism without being intimidating. Marissa had the distinct feeling that this woman was used to offering opportunities that could change lives. But why her? I don't understand. Marissa's voice wavered, her eyes fixed on the envelope in front of her. Tanya offered a gentle smile. Mr. Musk believes that kindness should not be punished. He saw the video of you, and when he discovered the truth about your mother, He knew he had to do something. Marissa's head snapped up, her eyes widening. The truth about my mother? Tanya nodded, her gaze softening. He would like to tell you himself. If you agree, Mr. Musk would like to meet with you tomorrow morning at Tesla headquarters. He has a proposal for you. Marissa swallowed hard. A part of her wanted to refuse immediately, to run far away from all the attention. But another part, the part that worried every day about rent, bills, and her children's future, urged her to take this opportunity. I'll be there. Her voice carried a hint of hesitation. Tanya nodded as if she had expected that answer. Good. A Tesla will pick you up at 9:30 a.m. Marissa felt like she was drifting through a surreal dream. Less than a week ago, she had been standing behind a McDonald's counter, her legs aching after hours of work. And now she was about to meet one of the most powerful men in the world. The next morning, right on time, a sleek black Tesla pulled up in front of her small apartment. As she stepped inside, she could hardly believe this was real. The soft leather seats, the faint scent of mint in the air, and the polite middle-aged driver who greeted her with a smile before setting off. It was a world far removed from her own. The car carried her away from the worn-down neighborhood she had known for so long, taking her towards something entirely different. When Tesla headquarters came into view, Marissa felt her hands grow cold. She had never stepped foot in a place so modern and luxurious. Tanya was already waiting in the lobby, guiding her through vast hallways lined with glass walls. Marissa could see hundreds of employees working, brilliant minds shaping the future of technology. She had never felt smaller in her life. When the office door opened, Marissa saw Elon Musk standing by the window, the morning light casting a contemplative silhouette. He turned around and smiled at her. "Good morning, Marissa. Thank you for coming." She struggled to keep her voice steady. "Thank you for inviting me." Elon gestured for her to take a seat across from his desk. When she did, he sat down as well, closing the distance between a billionaire and a former McDonald's worker. "I want to start with an apology," he said, his voice calm yet sincere. "I never imagined that forgetting my wallet that night would cost you your job. If I had known what would happen, I would have stopped it." Marissa shook her head, feeling strange that someone like Elon Musk was apologizing to her. "It wasn't your fault. I knew the store's policy, and I made the decision to break it." Elon nodded. "But that rule was unfair. No one should lose their job for being kind, and I believe kindness deserves to be rewarded." Marissa didn't know how to respond. She had never expected to be rewarded for what she did. She had helped him simply because it was the right thing to do, just like her mother had once done for a young, struggling man years ago, without ever knowing who he would become. Elon met her gaze, his expression serious but warm. "I have a proposal for you, Marissa. I want you to work for Tesla." Marissa froze. She almost thought she had misheard. "Work for Tesla?" Elon nodded. "I believe you have qualities that we need. You have empathy, resilience, and most importantly, you understand that sometimes rules need to be flexible to put people first. I want to offer you a position on Tesla's customer service team." Marissa's mind spun. She had never worked in an office before. She didn't have a college degree. Could she really belong in one of the world's leading tech companies? As if reading her thoughts, Elon smiled. "I don't care if you have a degree or not. We can train skills, but we can't teach someone kindness and sincerity. You already have that." He slid a folder toward her. Marissa looked down, her eyes widening when she saw the printed salary, $85,000 a year. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. "Are you sure? I'm just someone who used to work at McDonald's." "And your mother was just a McDonald's employee too," Elon said, his voice gentle. "But she helped me when I had nothing. I never forgot that. Now I'm simply doing the same." Marissa felt her throat tighten. Her mother had always believed that kindness would come back around, even if it took years. And now it was happening before her very eyes. Elon stood up and extended his hand. I don't want you to see this as charity. This is an opportunity. I believe you're capable of more than you realize. Will you accept? Marissa looked at his hand, then back at the contract. She thought of all the nights she had spent worrying about Zoe and Miguel's future. She thought of the helplessness she had felt when she lost her job for doing the right thing. And she knew she couldn't let this opportunity slip away. Taking a deep breath, she reached out and shook Elon Musk's hand. I accept. And in that moment, her life changed forever. Marissa Lopez walked out of Elon Musk's office with a whirlwind of emotions, astonishment, happiness, and a bit of fear. Just a few days earlier, she had been desperate after losing her job, trying to figure out how to support her 2 children with no idea what the future held. Yet now she had secured a job at Tesla, earning 3 times what she had made before, and most importantly, an opportunity to rebuild her life. As the Tesla car took her back to her small apartment, Marissa gazed out the window, watching the scenery gradually change from the luxurious buildings of Silicon Valley to the old neighborhood she still called home. Although she now had a new job and a brighter future ahead, she knew she still had a lot of work to do. The first step was telling Zoe and Miguel. When she walked into the house, the 2 children immediately ran up to her, hugging her tightly. Miguel, with bright eyes behind his thick glasses, asked eagerly, Mom, how did the interview go? Marissa knelt down to her son's level and held his hand. Mom didn't just get a new job. I got a really good one. I'll be working for Tesla. Zoe's eyes widened in shock. Tesla? Like the cars you show me on the road. Marissa nodded, a smile she couldn't hide on her face. Yes, I'll be working there, and that means our life will be more stable. We won't have to worry about rent or meals anymore. Miguel jumped up in joy. Does that mean you won't have to work the night shift anymore? Will you be home for dinner every day? Marissa pulled both children into a tight hug. Yes, I'll be home for dinner, and even better, I can take you to school every morning. In the days that followed, Marissa's life changed in ways she had never imagined. On her first day at Tesla, she wore the simple office dress Tanya had bought for her, walking into the building with a fresh sense of purpose. She was given a desk in the customer service department where she would directly address customer issues. But that was just the beginning. After a few weeks, her supervisor recognized the difference Marissa was making. She wasn't just doing her job, she was finding ways to improve everything. Instead of just handling complaints, she identified areas where Tesla could enhance the customer experience, helping the company connect with its users in a more human way. Elon Musk didn't just give her a job out of kindness, he saw her true potential. Soon she was promoted to a higher position, overseeing a team in the customer care department. Her family life also changed dramatically. With her new income, Marissa could afford a larger apartment in a better neighborhood, one with parks and good schools for Zoe and Miguel. For the first time in years, she could buy groceries without worrying about the price, take her kids out on weekends without stressing about the budget. Miguel joined the school science club and started building small rocket models, constantly talking about his dream of becoming a space engineer. Zoe enrolled in the ballet class she had always wanted to take. One evening, as Marissa prepared dinner, Miguel said, Mom, I think Elon Musk is a good person, but you're even better than him because you helped him without even knowing who he was. Marissa laughed, tears of pride welling up in her eyes. Her work at Tesla progressed far beyond what she had imagined. Within just 6 months, she had proposed and implemented a new program that made it easier for customers to access support services, significantly increasing customer satisfaction. One day, Elon Musk himself came to meet her, no longer just a busy CEO, but like an old friend. Marissa, you've done a great job. I want to offer you the opportunity to expand your role into the position of Global Customer Experience Director for Tesla. Marissa was stunned. She had never imagined she could achieve such a high position, but looking back on everything she had accomplished, she knew she was ready. That evening, when the three of them were sitting on the new sofa in their cozy apartment, Zoe leaned her head on Marissa's shoulder and asked, "Mom, do you remember when we had to eat instant noodles for a whole week?" Marissa smiled and patted her daughter's head. "I remember, and I remember I promised you that things would get better," Miguel whispered from beside her. "And you did it." A year after losing her job at McDonald's, Marissa stood on stage at Tesla's annual event, speaking to hundreds of employees for the first time. She shared her story about her mother, the fateful night at McDonald's, and how kindness could change the life of a person. When she finished her speech, the room erupted in applause. In the front row, Elon Musk nodded with approval. As she left the stage, Tanya approached and handed her a small ring. "Elon wanted you to have this." Marissa opened it and smiled sweetly when she saw the small silver pendant. It was the jewelry her mother had worn lost years ago. Marissa Lopez clutched the envelope tightly, her heart pounding as she looked at the woman sitting across from her. Tanya Williams, Elon Musk's senior assistant, exuded professionalism without being intimidating. Marissa had the distinct feeling that this woman was used to offering opportunities that could change lives. But why her? I don't understand." Marissa's voice wavered, her eyes fixed on the envelope in front of her. Tanya offered a gentle smile. "Mr. Musk believes that kindness should not be punished. He saw the video of you, and when he discovered the truth about your mother, he knew he had to do something." Marissa's head snapped up, her eyes widening. "The truth about my mother?" Tanya nodded, her gaze softening. "He would like to tell you himself. If you agree, Mr. Musk would like to meet with you tomorrow morning at Tesla headquarters. He has a proposal for you." Marissa swallowed hard. A part of her wanted to refuse immediately, to run far away from all the attention. But another part, the part that worried every day about rent, bills, and her children's future, urged her to take this opportunity. I'll be there." Her voice carried a hint of hesitation. Tanya nodded as if she had expected that answer. "Good. A Tesla will pick you up at 9:30 a.m. Marissa felt like she was drifting through a surreal dream. Less than a week ago, she had been standing behind a McDonald's counter, her legs aching after hours of work. And now she was about to meet one of the most powerful men in the world. The next morning, right on time, a sleek black Tesla pulled up in front of her small apartment. As she stepped inside, she could hardly believe this was real. The soft leather seats, the faint scent of mint in the air, and the polite middle-aged driver who greeted her with a smile before setting off. It was a world far removed from her own.